Welcome to the Influencer Show with your host, Trishawn Ben Salmi.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Influencer Show, where I interview people who can help influence the way you live life in a number of different ways. I'm your host, T7, and today we have a very special guest for us, James Bowles. So if you'd like to introduce yourself to your listeners and tell them a little bit about you.
Hi everyone, I'm James Bauer and I'm a health and fitness educator. So I run workshops in schools, centres and communities, mainly targeting young people and families. So been a personal trainer, a PE, physical education teacher, head of year, and done lots of work in the community in my past. So lots of experience and knowledge.
That is absolutely amazing. Thanks so much for sharing. Why don't you share with the listeners why you do what you do?
So really, I'm passionate about health and fitness, but I'm also passionate about working with people, particularly young people. So that's why I wanted to sort of combine my passions. So that's why I got into PE teaching for personal training. And then now I want to get into more sort of educating the young people and families about health and fitness, you know, not just the physical health, but the mental health and sort of social health as well, like, you know, building relationships and everything. So, yeah, that's why I do what I do, you know, passionate about those things and wanting to combine it together.
That is absolutely amazing. That sounds great, really, yeah. What would you say has been the biggest influence on you that you wish you had known sooner?
There's a few things really, but I'd say just having being grateful, just having the gratitude for what we do have, because sometimes it's easy to get caught up in looking for the next thing, but being grateful for what you have, and that tends to bring in more of what you want anyway. Also, like personal development, I got into personal development many years ago, and just reading the books, watching videos, going to events. I think that's really helped shift my mindset. I think, you know, just feeding my mind positive stuff and being around the right people that can sort of elevate you, you know.
Definitely, and I think that gratitude is something that all of us need to implement in our life, just no matter where we are or what stage, really. Because when you have gratitude for what you simply had, then you are then able to attract more into your life, because you're you're content with what you have, and you're then able to welcome more and just attract an abundance of things, really.
Yeah, no, definitely, 100% agree with what you just said there. Just having and even just gratitude for the simple things. Sometimes we, you know, like when you get injured or something, you take for granted that you had an able body and you were able to work out and stuff. So even just simple things like, yeah, I'm healthy today. Yeah, I've got my family around me. Yeah, you know, I'm eating good food today. Simple things like that. You know, you've got to be thankful for as well, not just the big things.
Definitely, I totally agree with that. Why don't you share with your listeners how you prefer to influence others to change the way they live their lives for the better?
Well, there's always a quote that stuck with me from Gandhi, and he said, "Be the change that you want to see in the world." So for me, just leading by, you know, being the person that I would want to meet on the street, you know, leading by example, you know, when I was a teacher, I think it's easy to just tell people what to do, but when you show them where you are the person that you want people to aspire to, I think that has a bigger effect. And I know myself, I always aspired and was influenced by the people that were a certain way. They weren't telling you all the time, do this, do that. They were actually doing it, you know. So just being the change that you want to see in the world, really, and taking that sort of lead, really. That was that's my style, really.
Definitely, I 100% agree with that, really, because it's about then leading by example, because actions do speak louder than words. And if people then see you're doing what you tell them to do, it encourages them even more to follow the thing, because they can then see the results that you have, and they're like, this can be possible for me as well. So that's absolutely amazing.
Exactly. I always used to like that one, actions speak louder than words. I always used to say that to my students. So, you know, they tell me this and that, and I say, actions speak louder than words. Show me what you're about.
Definitely, because it does bring the results at the end of the day. And what would you say people should do to stay motivated during moments of crisis?
During moments of crisis, I mean, obviously we've got the coronavirus going on at the moment, so I'd say be true to yourself. You know, take a time for self-reflection and be true to who you are, and put things in sort of perspective, and, you know, focus on what you're grateful for again, and where you sort of want to be with the situation, you know, because it's easy to get caught up in everything around you, but I think you just need to take that moment to yourself, that self-reflection. What you know, what do I want to get out of this situation? How do I want to be? You know, when I look back on this, how would I want to see myself as dealing with the situation? You know, because some people get all frantic and you just take a minute and just think, actually, is it that bad? You know, and put things in a wider sort of perspective. It's hard to do sometimes when things are going on around us, but you know, just taking that moment to just reflecting, you know, who am I and what do I want to get out of the situation? Where do I want to be? You know, looking at that really.
Yeah, and I really did like how you said there about like self-reflection, because like during this time, many people, they're like watching the news all the day and things, all like hours of the day, and it's like it's not the like best way to then spend their lives. And it's about sometimes even like tuning out of all the like social media and everything that's going on, that then gives you that time to reflect, look deeper inside yourself, and then make your days even more productive, really.
Definitely. I mean, taking this time for self-reflection, I think the people I've been speaking to have definitely said it's been good for them to just look at, you know, what's important in their life, be grateful for what's important, and then think about what they actually want to do with their life, especially when situations like this are happening. I mean, I made a conscious effort not to watch the news at all. I don't ever watch the news at this time. I mean, you know what's going on, because when you speak to people are going to tell you, or you'll get clippets on social media. You don't need to watch every update on, you know, it's just going to lead you. And even with the conspiracy theories that everyone's saying, there might be truth in it, but obviously the more you investigate it, the more it's just going to lead to stress and anxiety. So just take the time for self-reflection and focus on what you want to get out of life and where you want to be, really.
Definitely, I totally agree with that. I really do urge that you listeners are taking notes on the golden nuggets that James has to share for us today.
Thank you.
If you thank you. If you had a megaphone and you could say one thing to the world that would have a lasting influence, what would it be and why?
I think coming back to that point we made earlier about gratitude, so be grateful for what you have, and sort of show love to yourself and other people as well, because being kind to everyone, because you never know what battles people are going through, you know. So just having that gratitude, you know, be kind to people, but being kind to yourself as well, because it's easy to sometimes we give so much love away to people, but we don't love ourselves as well, and we don't give back to ourselves, and we're not compassionate with ourselves. So yeah, those things, being grateful for what you have, show love to yourself and other people, and be kind to people as well. You know, you don't know what they're going through.
Definitely. I think it really does link back to the quote, like, if your cup is full, you're then able to pour in others. Like, there's no point going around trying to like help everyone if you're emotionally, physically drained, because then it's just not the best scenario, really. So I really do advise that you listeners do start to take care of yourself, because then you're then able to have a longer and better lasting impact on the other lives that you touch.
No, definitely. And I think what you just touched on there, like, you know, make sure your cup is full before you can give to others. I know working with a lot of families, particularly mothers and mums, are superstars out there, but sometimes they give away so much energy and love to their kids and other people that, you know, they don't take time to fill up themselves. So any mums listening, just, you know, make sure you give some love and give some time to yourself as well, because you know, you're doing a great job, and sometimes, you know, you need to take stock of that as well.
Definitely, I totally agree with that. What is the biggest issue or problem that you're aiming to solve as an influencer in your own industry?
I'd say with health and fitness at the moment, is my industry. Now, obviously, there's a lot going on with the virus, so people are sort of taking more attention of health and fitness now, which has given people a wake-up call. I do find that there's a lot of attention on the physical, because with some of the products that I'm developing at the moment and the workshops, I want to work on not just the physical health, but the mental health and the social health, because I think there's so much information out there in the physical health. A lot of people know what to eat, how to exercise, but it's having the mental health and working on what we think about ourselves and what we think about the world around us. And also building that mental health helps with your habits as well, because a lot of people know what to do with health and fitness, but it's just doing it on a regular basis, like training on a regular basis. But when you start to build in habits, and when you start to think about yourself in a certain way, and have that build that self-belief, that has a massive impact on your mental health. And also I touched on social health as well. When I talk about social health, I mean relationships as well. It's like how we, I talked about being kind to people, how we talk to people, because how we build relationships is essential, and sometimes we don't always work. I know it working in schools, like there wasn't that much education on like relationships, how to talk to people. I know you yourself, you've been to a lot of stuff, but it was more outside of school, your education on, in terms of public speaking, how to listen, how to communicate. Those things I think are vital, but we don't always have education around those things in sort of mainstream. So my desire is to just sort of build this into the education system. So I want to build this health and fitness, but the social health and mental health into the mainstream education, so that everyone can benefit from it. So that's one of the main things that I see, problems in the industry at the moment. And one other thing I'll probably say as well is going on to the relationships as well, is having a win-win attitude. So a lot of people are looking to get on, and they think it's, I've got to beat this person, or I've got to get my thing. But if we collaborate and work together, everyone can win. And it doesn't have to be that dog eat dog mentality. We can all win. We can work together. We can find out. And like anytime I'm working with someone, like if I want to go into business or do something with someone, I'm looking for a win-win. I'm not looking to let me see how much money I can get out of this person, or let me see if I can do as little work as possible so they can pay. Like I want that person to be happy, and I want to be happy. And if there's if you've got that, that's great. And then we're just going to grow together. So just working on that as well.
Yeah, and you touched on like several key points. One of them that really did stand out for me was the mental health as well as the physical health, because many people they're focusing on like getting that, like their dream body and things like that. But if they don't have everything like correct inside out as well, then there's no real reward as a result of getting that dream body. Because then if you're not all right on the inside, then nothing on the outside can simply like supplement that really. So it's about then working inside out, and then that way everything shall like be like perfect, not perfect, but like everything should like work out the way that you want it to be really.
100%. And like you said, like that, it working inside out, because we all know the celebrities that look amazing, they've got loads of money, and they still have those mental health problems. And you're like, why is this person having these mental health problems? They look amazing, they're fit, and they've got loads of money, but so it's working inside out, and it applies to everyone. It doesn't, I think with this coronavirus, it's kind of equalized everyone. So, everyone's in a similar situation, whereas, you have to stay and being around people, and that mental health really does affect in this situation. So it's important for everyone to work on mental health. And it's not just, if I do this, then I'm going to have, my mental health's going to be sorted. It's something like your physical health. You've got to work on every day. You've got to work on, all the time. Same with your relationships, your social health. You've got to work on all those all the time. You can't just, this is my friend, and that's it, and you never call them again. You work on building those relationships as well, same way.
Definitely. What advice would you give to those who maybe they found their own like £1 million idea at a time like this?
Get out and do it. Just get out and do it, because I know myself, this is one of the things that happen, is true to me when I'm younger. You kind of get in your own way. You start thinking about what other people are going to think and everything like this. But just get out there, do it. Don't be so concerned what others think. And in fact, you can actually switch it around. You can think, well, actually, this might be essential for other people, because what I'm doing now can have a massive benefit on other people. And if your idea is something that's going to benefit other people, it's almost your purpose to get your idea out there and do it. The same way, like you might be doing this interview now, this might, something we might talk about in this interview might switch something in someone to go and do whatever they want to do or improve their life in some way. Just get out there and do it. Think about, you don't want to, there's someone said this, I think it was Wayne Dyer or Les Brown, one of those guys was saying, don't die with your music in you. You don't want to go past your prime, or you don't want to go through your life not having given what you could have given or done what you could have done, you know, and especially if it's going to have a positive impact on other people, you definitely 100% need to get it out there. And like you said, you've got the time now to make sure you can do it. So work on it, get out there and have that impact.
That is so true, and that is one thing that everyone does have a lot of at a time like this. They have time on their hands, so it's about then getting to work and then really just working on those dreams, goals, and aspirations that you've always like procrastinated on, said, "Oh, there's not enough time." Now is the time for you guys to then actually start doing the things that you've always wanted to do with your life.
No, definitely. So just get out there. You know, you can use yourself as the example, Trayshawn. You're out there doing it. So, you know, anyone that's listening, just get out there and do it. And just, you know, you'll be thankful you did it when you look back on this time as well.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. What would you say was that like so-called pivotal point along your journey?
There's been a few pivotal points. I'd say one of the ones that comes to mind is I was working in the school. So obviously I said I like working with young people, and obviously being a PE teacher, physical education teacher, I got to do that as well. But as time went on in school, I realised that it's getting very much about the grades and the levels, and not as much about the kids. So I did have an itching feeling in my head. I would go for these jobs at this school for like this is my first school I was at for head of year, and I remember I thought everyone liked me, all the teachers and the students liked me. I didn't get a job, and then I remember the head teacher at the time, he told me, "I don't think you're intellectually capable enough to do this," and everything. I remember it just stuck in my head, and I think it might have gone back to something maybe that happened when I was at school or something, where when I didn't think I was good enough or as clever enough or something, and that kind of just sparked me, and I just thought, you know what, I don't want to be in a situation where other people, or I'm in a environment where other people are telling me I'm not clever enough or not good enough to do this thing. I want to make my own way, and I want to be able to make my own decisions, and that kind of flipped me to think, yeah, I'm going to start working on my own thing. So then I got into some property stuff. Made some money from the property stuff as well, and then now I'm moving more into sort of obviously setting up my own business with the Biopower Fitness as well. So that was a moment that kind of flipped me. So, you know, when someone says something about you like that you know, it can sometimes, you can use it as fuel to inspire you, you know. Yeah.
That's absolutely amazing how then you're then able to turn those adversities into the empowerment to simply propel you forward to then actually start your own start what you've always wanted to start in fitness, really. So that's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, sometimes, I mean, I think sometimes when you have the setbacks, you don't realize it at the time, but sometimes they can be a setback is a setup for a comeback anyway. So, you know, treat the setbacks, you know, when you put it into perspective and you look back on them, sometimes they can mean good things for you, to, you know, that you might have changed something, or you might have worked on something in yourself to lead you to better things anyway. So, you know, I think there's a quote, it says you either win or you learn. So you're either winning, or if you don't win, you're learning something. So I always think about that now.
And that is so very key, because it's great to have accomplished like the success that you may have wanted, but it's also about the journey that you go on, because then as a result of going on the journey, you then learn things that you could have never learned if it was just straight into the success. On that journey, then you may have on that journey you may have made like friends, you may have made like lifelong lessons, and that really does stick with you for life, so that no matter whether it's in the ups or downs, you're then able to reflect back on those learnings that you've had, and then they can simply enable you to then get out of the hardship, really.
Definitely, and that's what you said. What you said there about the journey and the learnings that you have, that makes you into the person that you become. It's the same way that I look at it when I say to people, it's like training your body. When you go gym, you break down your muscles, you feel pain. You know, you might feel tired, but you know that when you're recovering, your body gets fitter, gets stronger, and then you come back. Same way when I used to do Muay Thai, you know, the harder you go into the sparring and the fight, the harder you're training in there, then the easier it is when you get into a competition or a fight. So it's the same way, you've got to put yourself sometimes through those situations to make yourself better or stronger.
I totally agree with that. Could you share with us like maybe like 3 lessons that you've learned along your journey, and how did they influence the way you look at life?
I think, well, the first one what we just was talking about there, either winning or learning, because it's easy to, like we said, beat yourself up when you make a mistake, but having that perspective, and it was something that I did do a lot. When I make a mistake, I'd be very hard on myself. I'd beat myself up, and I'd feel like really bad about myself. So I think just taking it as a learning lesson, so either winning or learning, that would be one of my key things that key lessons that I learned. Another thing is being clear on your vision or your goal, because it's easy, particularly now. I think in my past, it was maybe you didn't have so much, all the social media and all this information coming at you. So it's easy to get distracted by so many different things. So just being clear on your goal or your vision. And I think the clearer you are, those people that are super clear and they know exactly what they want to do, they get there a lot quicker. So being crystal clear, have that sharp vision of what you want to achieve, and I think it gets you there a lot quicker. Another thing, I read this great book. So anyone that's into reading, there's this book I read called Atomic Habits. Now this is only a recent thing. Atomic Habits by a guy called James Clear. I recommend you read it yourself as well, actually, because it just breaks down habits and what we do all the time and how we can make the habits work for us, because unconsciously every day we're doing things that we don't even think about, and you can actually make these habits work for you in a productive way. So for example, you have like your morning habits, you have things you might do throughout the day, and so on. And I think if you make habits work for you in a positive way, and you're aware of the habits that maybe are not working for you, then you can make your life a lot more productive and a lot more positive as well. So yeah, having key habits, I think, is a big thing.
And that is also very key, because at the end of the day, like the habits that you have then determines whether like your levels of success. Because if you have bad habits, like you constantly hang around with the wrong people, you're constantly procrastinating, things like that, then it simply stops you from achieving. So by getting your habits straight, then you are then able to multiply the levels of success in a shorter time period.
Exactly. Yeah. So habits is key. Everyone listening, just make sure you're aware of what you're doing. Make some good habits. Like when I wake up in the morning, I have a morning routine, and I think anyone that has a morning routine, it just sets up your day a lot better. When you do things like I get up, I have my cold shower, I do some meditation, I do some exercise, I do some reading, I write in my journal, and then automatically that's setting me up to have a more positive day, and I feel ready for the day that way as well. So yeah.
That is so very true, because like having that morning routine, in a way, it sometimes like gives you something to look forward to the next morning, because then you're like, oh, I can't wait until I get to do this and things like that. So just like having those habits that then like propel you to then move forward, and in a way it helps you to then make your days even more productive, because you know that this is what I do when I get up, this is what I do before I go to bed, and anything else that I need to get done in the day needs to happen between this time and this time. So then it actually helps you to then plan everything day to day, really. So I'd highly advise that you guys, as listeners, do give that a try. James, if you had to be another person for one day, who would it be and why?
This is a tough question, because obviously working on myself. But when I think, I used to watch basketball. Yeah, I used to be into basketball a lot. I used to play basketball, and I grew up watching Michael Jordan. So I would probably say Michael Jordan. I know he's older now, but Michael Jordan in his prime, that is one person I want to be. Purely for the reasons that obviously he was an excellent player, and he just had so much belief in himself and so much confidence in his abilities, and he was such a hard worker. I mean, he's confident because he works so hard on his craft, but I'd love to have his belief and that skill level to go in a game. Everyone knows who he is, everyone knows what he's going to do, but he still goes out there and dominates the game. And just being able to do those crazy dunks and all those moves that he did as well, that would have been cool still. So I would say, yeah, just Michael Jordan, maybe when he was going into like one of his playoff or epic games, that would have been cool, just to feel what it was like, to know.
Yeah.
that I'm going to smash this game, even though everyone's watching, and they know they're ready for me, but I'm still going to do it.
I totally understand why he selected. That's absolutely amazing. Could you share with us like your views on the word legacy and what legacy you'd like to leave?
Legacy, what I believe by legacy is kind of what you would leave behind, or what you would want people to remember you by. So, I read a book called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. It's one of my favorite books. And in that book, it's talking about, visualizing your funeral and what people will be at a funeral and what people would say about you, from your family, your friends, your community and whatever. So I think about this a lot. And, I'd want my legacy to be someone that just made other people feel better about themselves, or made other people better just from knowing me. Also passing on my knowledge of health and fitness to other people so that they could use that, and just empowering, especially some of the younger people, to go on and have a better life and use that health and fitness to make their life better the same way that I did. Because it helped me a lot, particularly when I was younger, just getting my confidence and everything, got to get into sports. So yeah, my legacy would be like, contributing, making other people around you feel better, and just passing on that knowledge of health and fitness so I can empower the next generation with that. So yeah, I mean, it's nice when I say legacy. It's nice because some of my old students that I used to teach at school that are older now, and they're still contacting me on Instagram and Facebook and stuff, and it's nice to know that they're doing well. And some of them have got into like martial arts or personal training or Thai boxing and stuff, and it's good to know that they're going on to inspire the next group of young people as well. So it's just keep it going like that, really.
That is absolutely amazing, and I think that's like one thing that you touched on there was like how it's about having that impact, and that is the thing that really lasts. Because like, let's say that you're then giving a speech, many people, they might not remember who it was or like when it was, but they remember either the lessons that you shared or how you made them feel. So that is one thing that is really just important in everyday life as a whole, really, just having a long-lasting positive impact on people.
Yeah, I like that what you just said, because I was actually thinking exactly the same thing as what you just said. It's not necessarily what you said, but how you make people feel, and that is important. If you live your life making other people around you feel good about themselves, feel good feel happy, I think that you're winning there. That's what we're here for. Making other people feel better and making other people's lives better. So,
yeah, definitely. What advice would you give to your younger self?
My younger self, just a few things. There's quite a few things that I was thinking about this actually. I'd say go for it more. One of my things would be go for it more. Don't worry what other people think so much, because I think growing up sometimes you do like have those confidence issues sometimes. And so going for it more. I did sometimes hold back. So just really going for it and being clear on what I want to get, being clear on, like I said earlier, being clear on my goals, being clear on my vision, what I want to achieve, but also who I want to be as well. Being grateful, we touched on that earlier, being grateful for the things I did have, because sometimes when you're growing up, you're doing some amazing things, but you're moving so quickly, sometimes you just, when you get a bit older, you look back and you think, wow, that was amazing what I actually did there. And so sometimes being grateful. And just being, like you said earlier, I think about being around the right people and feeding your mind with the right things, like what you watch and read is important, because you're feeding your mind, and who you're, like you said earlier, being around the right people, having those right conversations. I think if you're around the right people, they elevate you. Sometimes I might not have always been around the right people. I did learn that, but yeah, just those things. So yeah, just go for it. Being clear on my visions, being grateful, being around the right people, and feeding my mind with the right sort of information.
I totally agree with that, because like if you're not watching the things that you surround yourself with, be it like what you watch, who you talk with and things like that, then you don't really understand how you get the results that you're getting at this moment in time. Because like there's been people, they're like, oh my gosh, I'm so annoyed, I'm not achieving this and this, but the reason why they're not achieving that is because they're not surrounding themselves with the right people who can then uplift them, and they're not watching the right things and things like that. So everything does play a role in achieving your goals and desires in life, really.
Yeah, and it's easy because sometimes it's common, like when you're around things, especially if you're trying to elevate yourself as well, and you got people around you saying, "Oh no, you can't do this, you're not good enough for this," and it's hard sometimes. But like you said, you got to be around those people that are going to elevate you, the people that are going to boost you up, or the people that can help you with certain things. You know, if you want to be fit, make sure you're around fit people. If you want to be rich, get around some people that are rich and know how to make money. It makes sense like that. So I always try and get around people that are gonna elevate my game. You know.
Definitely. I totally agree with that. Could you share some advice with, let's say that someone set up a brand new business, but they're starting to give up?
Consistency is key. I think if you check any of those people that have been successful, I think you'd watch all of them. Any person, they began from humble beginnings, or they do things a lot that maybe flopped, that maybe didn't get them anywhere. But I think those people, they had their belief. I think you have to believe in yourself and believe in what you're doing. That's very key. Be consistent. Keep going. If you believe in yourself and you keep going, you will get to where you need to be anyway. You're going to get there because you see those people that just keep working and keep working. It's going to pop off soon. Also, just building those positive habits as well, just like we talked about earlier, because I think it's easy to get sidetracked when, if you're working on a business or you're working on something and it's not going well, and you think, oh no, actually maybe today I'll go off. But if you're doing it consistently every day and you make it into a habit, it's just going to happen automatically. So yeah, just being clear on your vision and being consistent, I think, and having that self-belief in yourself. If you really believe in what you're doing and it's going to have impact, then it's going to get there.
I definitely agree with them, and especially at them last 2 points on consistency and self-belief, because self-belief, no matter then what others say or what others do, then you just know that this is what I want to do, and you have laser beam focus and on your vision, and that way it simply then propels you forward to achieve your vision even faster. And definitely about consistency, because it's about putting them the consistent steps in the right direction that will get you closer and closer to your dreams and aspirations every day of life, really. Lastly, could you share with the listeners where they can find you? They'd like to find out about any upcoming things that you may have.
So at the moment, I'm more active on Instagram. So my Instagram is Bauer Power Fitness. So BOWERPOWERFITNESS. Bauer Power Fitness on Instagram. I'm also on Facebook as well, at Bauer Power Fitness the same way, and I'm also on YouTube. So I'm just getting more YouTube stuff out there. I'm going to be doing Instagram live workouts at the moment on Wednesday now at 10 o'clock, and I'm going to do one because I do a community session at Brixton Street Gym. There's a Saturday Instagram live fitness session with myself at 10 a.m. tomorrow as well. So 10 a.m. Brixton Street Gym Instagram, and 10 a.m. on Bauer Power Fitness on Wednesday. So yeah, Instagram's probably the best place to find me.
Thank you so much for sharing. And I'd like to thank you for coming on the Influencer Show today.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure, and it's great to see you do big things. And I wish you all the success and happiness in life.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Likewise. And also thank you to you listeners for tuning in. And if you guys like to have the chance to be featured on the Influencer Show, be sure to email. The email is going to be popping up on the screen. And I hope you guys have an amazing day. That's it from me. Bye.